What's going on, guys? So right now it's 11:18 and I'm heading out to Phillipsburg, New Jersey. We got a project going on out there. Actually, it's a second project, but it's my first time of getting into this house. So we picked it up through auction. So but we have experience in doing this. I definitely don't want to encourage you to do that if you don't know what you're doing, because a property can come with all kind of problems, especially if you're not familiar with the neighborhood, dealing with the city's C of O, certificate of occupancy, and things like that. So it's just one of the ways that we've decided in recent time to explore to pick up properties. As you know, you gotta have multiple streams of income, not just income. You basically deals and leads deal to deals, leads to deals, right? And deals are money as far as we're concerned. So we have to create multiple streams of that as well, just so we can be ahead of the curve, okay? Be ahead of the game, be ahead of the trend. That's just one of our ways of doing that. So I'm heading out to this property on Bennett Street in Phillipsburg. It's going to take me about 55 minutes to get there. So I will see you when I get there. All right, so that was quite a bit of work. My brother is pulling off, but not a lot of work actually. Basically, majority of the work you saw, some of the clips I just showed you, or that I show you in this video. Majority of the work is carpeting, painting, fixtures, just replacing some of the fixtures like the outlets, covers, and even some of the kitchens have fairly new appliances like stove and fridge. Some of them we have to pick up. This neighborhood right here is basically a place where we come and we actually put some used stuff. But I'll see you on the next one. Bye now. The 5 BENNETT rehab tips that I want to share with you. It's 5. The first one is visionary. You have to be a visionary. What do I mean by that? When you get into these properties, okay, or you go on an appointment, you want to be a visionary. Now this is accountable. This is applicable for you, either you're a wholesaler or a rehabber. You basically have to learn how to see a dirty wall and see how you can convert that to, you got to see beyond just what you're seeing in the physical, right? This is going to help you to reduce your emotional energy that's involved in the deal as well too. If all you see is just a dirty house, obviously you're seeing a dirty house, that makes you feel like that needs a lot of work. I don't know if this house is worth something. But if you're a visionary, if you know how to look at things with an inside eyes, as in like you can see what this house can turn to, right? Then you really get better at picking up really good deals, because these are the savvy investors that are going to be picking up this property from you or yourself doing this work. Your profitability is attached to your ability to be able to see a dirty, ugly house and see what it can become without extending yourself beyond what it can produce. All right, so think about what I just said. It's not just about being a visionary and turning a dirty house to a mansion. Turning it to the best it can be for that neighborhood, right? Because you're in this business because you want to make profit, okay? So in other words, whatever work you put into the property, obviously you want to make sure that it's going to return back in terms of dollars, right? But more importantly, you have to be a visionary. You have to see a dirty wall. So for example, with this BENNETT situation, we enter the apartment and we notice that there's smoke. It looks like the person that was living there was probably smoking himself to death. Who knows, right? But there was smoke everywhere, as you can see in the pictures, the ventilation was all smoky, the filters we have to be replaced and things like that. And we noticed that and I'm like, but we were able to see beyond that. Well, we can replace that filter, we can replace that ventilation, we can paint that, we can script that, we can sparkle that, we can sandpaper that and sparkle and paint it, right? And these are the kind of vision you want to see. You want to have ability to see that kind of vision when you enter into a property. That's the first BENNETT rehab tip. So the second BENNETT rehab tip is to identify the replaceables and the restorables. What do I mean by that? Okay, so the replaceables are things that they're typically not costly. Okay, the idea is you want to get into a property, make it presentable. Okay, presentation matters. Okay, it's all about presentation. We call it packaging. It's all about how you package it, right? So you don't want to go into a place and start just going crazy haywire and just looking for ways to spend money. Believe it or not, some people just look for ways to spend money. I look for ways to bring in money. There's two different things, okay? And yes, sometimes that can be divided up into replaceables and restorables. They're going to be part of the property that will basically, you can restore it, meaning you can fix and restore it, right? And I don't know, you probably see an image of a cabinet here that, when you get into the kitchen and you see some of the cabinet doors to the side like that, and you start feeling like, oh yeah, I'm gonna need a cabinet. That's you looking for a way to spend money, okay? The idea is to look for a way to bring in money. So if a cabinet is still functional, depending on the neighborhood, of course, depending on your marketplace, there are markets. For example, this BENNETT market in Phillipsburg is a low income area, low to middle class income area. Basically, what we are going to do is replace those doors if we need to replace those doors, fix what needs to be fixed, and paint the cabinet. We're not going to remove that cabinet, okay? So we decided that because that's the best way we can get the most value out of that situation. So on the flip side, there are some replaceables, okay? So for example, the socket outlets, the covers, right? We simply want to replace those because it's going to cost us a lot more in time and energy trying to paint over that and make that look like a real one, instead of going to pick up an 80 cent $1.50 cover and replace the covers and then they look all clean again. So the cost, anything costs $2 or less, $3, $5 to replace it, you're probably going to benefit more, get more value from replacing it. There are some things that you want to restore, because if you try to replace it, like replacing the whole cabinet, depending on the neighborhood, there are certain times that replacing it will get you more money. You just want to make sure you identify that, okay? You want to make sure that you're very, very discreet about that. Am I going to get more money if I replace this whole thing, or if I just restore the cabinet doors and paint it? That's the decision you need to make. In this BENNETT project, basically we're going to get the most value by restoring the doors and then painting it, painting the ones that may have scratches and stuff, make it look presentable. The idea is to make it look presentable by packaging the whole thing. That's what this is about, okay? The third BENNETT rehab tip, okay? Breaking versus building, okay? You want to make sure that you have the mindset of building when you get into these properties, okay? And that's basically what we did. We entered the property, looks clean on the outside, needs some work, some cosmetic TLC type of work on the inside, carpeting, flooring, you know, fixture replacement, you know, just the covers, and like I said earlier, right? But we have the mindset that we're trying to build, not break things. There's a lot of people that watch too much HGTV, rehab TV shows, and they see people digging into a wall and pulling stuff down, and they bring that mindset into their first project, into their first rehab deal. Don't do that. You're not there to break things down, you're there to build. Ultimately, the ultimate goal is to build. So there's this mindset between building and breaking things. The ultimate goal is to build, okay? Sometimes you have to break things down in order to build. I get that. But for majority of the deals that you should be doing in your first 3, 4, 5 deals, you should be thinking building. How can I build? So if you look at these walls right here, some of the walls that I'm showing in the clip, you will see that there are some holes in the wall. As we walk along the stairs upstairs, there's some holes in the walls, and some people will see that and say, oh yeah, we have to tear down the wall and put new sheetrocks. Don't do that. If it's not broken, why are you trying to fix it? All you need to do is fill those walls and patch them up, sandpaper them and paint them. You will never know there's a hole in the wall. So think about this. Sometimes you get into you see people get into a fight and they put a punch into a wall, right? What are you going to do? Tear the house down to fix that? You're not going to do that, right? So think about those holes as just somebody punching the wall, and just fix it, build it. Don't allow yourself to go to breaking things down first, okay? Don't go there unless absolutely you need to break it in order to build it. And then also I need to point out to you that if a house was built in 1903 and you're worried about it's old, it's supposed to be old but functional. The idea is you package it and make it look like a vintage house, functional, right? Make it presentable and package it into a house that will sell immediately. You want people to come in there and fall in love with the oldness of the property. Don't try to turn a old house that was built in 1900 into a new construction. It's not gonna happen. You're just gonna waste money, basically. All right. Alright, so the fourth BENNETT rehab tip is the addict tip. Okay, what am I addict tip? Well, here in New Jersey we have addicts. We have basement, we have attics. I think I just learned that there's a lot of houses in Texas that doesn't have basements. Well, I was born in Texas, but I don't live there, and I never paid attention to that. I've been there a few times. But the attic tip is what I want to talk about. The attic tip is this: an attic, a lot of time you get into an attic and it's not a livable area per the city, right? As far as the city is concerned, it's not heated, and it doesn't have two sockets, like two outlets for electric, and it doesn't have a closet, so you can't really legally count it as a bedroom, right? And every city has their own different codes to what they consider a full-blown bedroom or not. For this property, for Bennett, the attic happened to be a legal bedroom. Okay, so that means they had two outlets. Okay, that means it's heated, so the central ventilation cooling system, central air comes into the attic, so it's a livable area. And so we decided to make it look uniform to the rest of the house. Okay, there's another project that we have going on that did not have those luxuries. Okay, it's an attic, but it's more or less like a basement. So the tip here is that leave it the way it is. Okay, when it comes to the legalities, is it a bedroom? If it was a bedroom, leave it that way. If it wasn't a bedroom, don't try to turn it to a bedroom. Again, it's all about presentation. If you try to turn an attic to a bedroom, then you have to make sure that it's heated. That means the central air has to come there, the ventilation, everything has to be in place, right? And that's a big problem. That's going to cost you a lot of money. That's going to cost you a lot more money, possibly more than the house can produce. There are exceptions to that rule. Sometimes, maybe if you put an additional bedroom, maybe in that neighborhood, most number of bedrooms are 4 bedrooms, and you feel like that attic can be the space enough to make it to a bedroom. And your realtor, somebody say, yo, if you make this a bedroom, it will give you that value back. If you're so sure about that, then why not? But I'm telling you right now, if you start thinking an extra $5,000-$10,000 to turn an attic into a bedroom, it's not necessary. Just make it look presentable. Don't add additional stuff. Like, for example, the other project I was talking about, they wanted us to put a ladder. There's a type of ladder they have to put on the window. The window has to be 8 feet tall in order to make it to a legal bedroom, and we had to say no. That's going to cost too much money, much more money than the property would have produced for us, right? In returns on investment, squash it, make it look presentable, paint, carpet, make sure there are no holes in the wall, right? And it could be an extra area in the house. It doesn't have to be a legal bedroom, and it can still add on to the value, but a lot more value than the work you're putting in, because that's really the key point in all of this, right? All right, so the last tip, last but the fifth and not the least tip for the BENNETT Rehab project is this: note the highlights. Focus on the highlights, the existing highlights in the property. Okay, there are some things that's nice. So as you can see right now, this house has a nice backyard, right? That's already a highlight for the house. We are going to make sure that that stands out. We're going to make sure that the property actually enjoys, the sale of the property enjoys that highlight, because an highlight, if you're coming through the front of the property, it's a little broken little what do you call it, like the cement area that's not so presentable. We'll try to patch that up, but that's not the highlight of the house. Don't try to spend too much money trying to fix that. Just make it look presentable. There are other things you can do to it without spending too much money, but you focus all your energy where the highlight of the house is. It's just like in everything else in life. There are certain places where you have strength, like even as human beings, you have strength and you have weaknesses, right? Basically, when you focus on your weaknesses, it expands. You're telling your customers to focus on your weakness as well too, and then you get what you sow is what you reap, right? Basically, you're sowing into your weaknesses and it will expand. But if you focus on the highlight, the strength of the property, which one of it in this case again is the backyard. It's such a spacious backyard that people can have a party. There's also a little nice garage in the back, right? We're gonna put some highlights on that, put some paintings and make it look presentable, and it's gonna cost us no more than $1,000 to make that happen. That's going to be a very nice value added to the property. Just always think value. When you're thinking about these deals, think value. Just think value. How can I add value? Because you can't think adding value if you're not thinking with respect to how much you're putting in versus the return on investment. That's how you think value. If you're thinking value in terms of what you love, what you're falling in love with, then you're making a mistake already, because you're going to expend energy, time, and money that you will never get back into a deal that's designed to be profitable. So that's the last tip. Hopefully that was very helpful. Hopefully you've been enlightened and educated. Click like, share this video with people you know will love it, and comment your questions below or directly to me. Anyone is fine, and I will see you on the next one, and peace.